Hi, I'm Jo Taylor and welcome to the Misadventures podcast. So we've got Jack Campbell joining us this week. So obviously, Stamps, you went to go and see one of our previous guests,
Dane Baptiste. Jinx.
Yeah. And Jack was his support, wasn't he?
He was.
And we liked him so much that we messaged him while we were in the audience and got him to agree to come on.
We did.
To do an episode with us. So we have had a little chat, and we're not entirely sure that it was travel driven, this episode, but it definitely was fun recording it. And I really liked having a chat with him. He was so lovely to just, oh God, and he can talk, can't he?
Oh yeah. I mean, don't expect to stay on topic. I mean, you know, no slight on Jack. I could happily keep talking to him. But as you say, I don't think we actually discussed much about travel. We mentioned places, lots of them.
Yeah. And the thing is, do you know what? He skimmed over the fact that he shared a bed with his mum in Iceland. And I would have really liked to have maybe find out why that happened. Basically, that he skimmed right over that one, didn't give us much chance to delve into that. But
maybe he doesn't want us to delve into that.
Potentially. That's probably a very good point. But I feel like we're going to have to get him back on for another season to actually go through the list of stories and destinations he gave me in the guest pre-recording chat.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't actually cover any of the stories that he told you about.
No, we didn't. No. We just spoke for nearly 2 hours.
About stuff.
About lots of things. So I still think, though, a very enjoyable episode. Like I said, I really enjoyed recording this one with Jack. And it's also our first guest that we have had on that we've recorded with after we've been to see them.
That is very true.
Yeah, it was really nice, actually. I felt like, you know, kind of like knew them a bit more. And
it's a bit more personal.
I think so, yeah.
Shall we stop teasing people and let them listen to it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. On with the episode.
Yes, so Jack, what we really want to know is about your travel mishaps, really. Basically, honestly, the worse the better for us. So,
I even had one recently. I think.
Oh, well, let's start with that then.
But it wasn't like a travel mishap. This is quite a sweet story / my dopiness as well, because
it's always a good start.
Yeah, so I think I told you, Joe, when we did the little pre-podcast phone call. Sorry, listeners. That's the magic behind the curtain. That's what we have to do. I think just to make sure you were just checking that I was like sane as well. Like I wasn't some maniac.
That's what she does. She vets people.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have dropped off after that phone call because Joe's like, no.
No, they're not good enough. No.
Yeah, just like, Jimmy Carr's weird. We can't have him. But with so recently, I think I told you I was going up to Elgin, Inverness.
Yes.
So that was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
And so I had a gig. This is also, again, how stupid I am sometimes as well. So I had a gig in Bradford upon Avon, which was one of the last places. That was the Friday. I was flying up on the Saturday. But I should say I thought it was in Bradford upon Avon, which is Somerset.
Right.
That was one of my last gigs I had before lockdown. And I got the gig saying it was Bradford. I was like, it'll be Bradford upon Avon because it's through this person who's given me it. That's where it would be. And I was going to stay at my friend's in Bristol and then fly from Bristol up to Inverness. And then when I got the email through, it was Bradford as in West Yorkshire. Bradford.
Bradford.
Proper Bradford. So I was like, all right, okay, I won't be staying at my friends in Bristol. And then I also checked the flights and I couldn't fly from Bristol anyway. So I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So did the gig in near Bradford. It was a tiny little village. And it was like Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. Like this beautiful little village.
Aww.
But like, it's great, but not good for a comedy gig, really, because the people there, like, this is our pub.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
And it was fine. Like, I got through it, whatever, it was fine. And then, so I then drove down from Bradford down to my brother's, who lives in Kettering. So I got there about 12:30, and then we were getting up at 5 a.m. for him to drive me to Luton.
Good Lord.
So I went to Luton, and it was only like, managed to get the flights from Luton to Inverness and return for like 40 quid, which is crazy good. Whereas looking at some of them, and it was just obscene. And so like I had hardly any sleep, got there. I realised I hadn't checked in because I didn't think I needed to check in for an internal flight because I'm a dope as well. So went over to the person, they sorted it out, gave me the ticket. I went through. That was all fine. And then I got there and I was looking at how to like check in to the venue, check in for my outbound flight, which I thought was at 7 a.m. the next day. And there was nothing turning up. And so what I had done was, when I was booking my flights, and it says 10, like the flight there 7 a.m. Saturday, return flight 10 p.m. Sunday, and because there's only one flight a day, pretty much, I'd clicked on earlier flights, and so rather than it take me back like 5 hours or whatever, it took me back to the previous day. So I'd booked a flight that was 20 minutes after I landed.
I seen this on Instagram. I remember now. Yeah, so, I saw your picture.
Oh man, like, and I was just like, and I had to, you know, I got it sorted again. Just had to book another flight and stuff like that. But I was just like,
that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm such an idiot. And then, but I sent off to the customer service thing. It's like, no normal human being would do this. Like,
why is this an option?
Yeah, like you would think the system would go, are you sure you want to get this flight?
Something like that. Like,
my missus just really likes something from that airport, so I'm just going to buy it and come.
Yeah, but you wouldn't even be able to get anything from the airport either, like, because you can't go into the boarding bit as well. So, like no one would take a flight that was 20 minutes after that. Like, all I've got time to do is get off and like go have a wee and then go back on. Yeah, it's like clearly this is a mistake. And I was treating it like train times, of thinking that like, oh yeah, there must be loads of flights to Luton, Inverness every single day. So like they said, oh, we can refund you. Did you get the insurance? No, of course I didn't get the insurance for Luton to Inverness, where I'm only taking a backpack. Why would I get like any insurance for that at all? Because I thought it'd be fine. So luckily that was all good. And so I did the gig. The gig was in like this weird American diner in Elgin. And that was really and I love going up to Scotland as well. I love it a bit.
For some reason, I can't imagine an American diner in Scotland.
I know. And also it's in a place like Elgin as well, which is like tiny. I'm trying to think of places near, it's like Hinckley, I suppose. Like, it'd be like that. And just having an American themed diner in Hinckley is so weird as well, isn't it? Like, and so there were these two lads, and there was one of those punching machines where you punch it and it gives you the score. Yeah. They were like 18, 19, and they got told, like, can you, like, we don't mind you doing that, whatever, have a good time, but like, can you not do it while the comedy's on?
Yeah.
And they were little sweet boys, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. And so did the gig. And then the guy running it was really great. He picked me up from the airport. We got food at the venue. We got all our drinks and stuff like that. We got hammered as well. But like the two lads came in and watched while I was on doing the gig, and we had a laugh with them and whatever, because like one of them had like really like bad sideburns because he was only like 18. So I was like, oh, did you make?
Was he trying a new look?
Yeah, he looked like he was putting on a deep voice and stuff like that as well. Like little
like
sweetheart.
Scottish Elvis in an American diner.
Yeah. And like, no, there was also, it wasn't that busy in Elgin because there was an Elvis tribute act called Kelvis on. And I went outside the venue at one point and Kelvis walked past me with some of his mates. It was quite funny.
Oh, God.
But then one of the lads, we're not sure if it definitely was him, but one of the two younger boys, because everyone else was in like couples and stuff like that, and they're all like in their 30s and 40s. And we ended up having a good fun time. And one of the lads, they'd gone over to the pub across the road, and immediately the police showed up, and I think one of them got arrested for starting a fight, like so quickly.
Oh,
like, I'm just going to go. I've been practicing punching all night, so might as well test it out.
Get the technique right.
Yeah. And then it was just weird, like, and then whatever, like, and then another one of the acts drove me to a place called Findhorn, which is where my granddad lives, and I haven't seen my granddad since I was like 12, and I'm 31 now. And I called him up the day before, letting him know, I was like, hey, sorry, I know this is kind of weird, but like I'm in Elgin and you're only down the road. It's like half an hour down the road. And so got to see him for a bit, which was really nice. And
That's
we
lovely.
walked and but because I was quite hungover, I was quite emotional.
Oh,
I was fine when I was with him. And there was also a guy as we were walking along from like where he lives now. And it's like a 2-minute walk to this old house that we used to go to with my mum and my sister. And it was really nice seeing that. And, you know, and all the house, like it used to be the council rules or whatever. You can only have fences 1/2 a metre high.
Yes.
When we were there, and now they're like, it's all, you can't see into the garden. And my granddad was like, it does make sense because I didn't like people looking into the house either because it's all like glass and it's right on the beachfront as well. But he was saying just like he used to like, because he'd be out in the garden in his dressing gown and he used to want to just like open up his dressing gown to people. Like, and I was like, I haven't seen him since I was 12. And as far as I'm aware, he's just a very like, he's not like a serious or a funny man. He's just like quite a polite old man.
Yeah.
And he's in his 80s now and stuff like that. Like, and he was quite like, he seemed really, because he only ever calls me on my birthday or Christmas. And it's a very quick phone call. Happy birthday, Jack. You having a good day? Yeah, I'm having a good day. I've been up to this. Okay, well, bye. And then that would just be the whole phone call since I was 12. And like, so it's like 17 years of that phone call over and over again. So it was really nice seeing him. And he called me up later on and stuff as well. So it was really great seeing him. And then I just spent the rest of the day in Inverness, which was really lovely. And I'm hoping to go up there again next year. But that was a very minor hiccup in terms of my own planning, really, of my own incompetence of not looking at. I shouldn't be trusted to book my own stuff. My brother, when we went away, me, my dad and my brother, and my brother becomes tour manager.
All right.
And he just books everything. And like we're both really laid back, but he's really good at it. And I sent him my flight times. He didn't see it either because it just says Saturday.
Yeah.
And where you just read it as like, oh, of course, no one's booking Saturday like that. And so
I must be coming back in the evening.
Yeah, or like I must be coming back the following day. It just made sense that like the flight's this time on Saturday morning, and then it's the same time Sunday morning. But that plane that goes up to Inverness immediately turns around and goes back. So that's what happened. But it was lovely. If you've not been to Inverness, I highly recommend it.
I've never been to Scotland.
No, not
what? Really?
Yeah, really. Man. But I've got a trip planned up there like next February.
Oh,
so I mean, it's not.
I used to go loads, and it was that weird thing of seeing my granddad's house. And when I was like a little kid, I thought the house was like in the middle of nowhere, but it is in like this little village, and there are houses next to it. Couldn't remember that, and so but then it was like if you've ever played games where there's like a map and you can't have the full map, and then when you're there, it starts like building up and like going around a corner. When we were, it must have been about like 8 and my sister was 10, we went and played like golf somewhere and my sister got hit in the head with a golf club, which sounds awful. Yeah, when she was 10. And like how? That's more important. How do you get hit? Because the person was trying to get a golf ball out, like our kind of cousins. And my sister was just stood too close behind him and he'd said like, move back. And she must have just not, and she got hit in the head. But she's fine. You know, and like I remember walking past there, I was like, oh, right, that was right there. I thought that was miles away. It's like, no, it was right there. And go around the corner and got dropped off. Well, the guy dropped me off. There was a little alleyway with some houses, and that's where my great grandma used to live and stuff like that. So it was really like interesting seeing all of that. But, you know, like Inverness was really, really nice. And like I had to spend pretty much like 6 hours there on my own, which I was perfectly fine doing. I just went in little pubs and stuff like that. And there was lots of Americans everywhere and like really getting into the Scottish music that was going on. They had the traditional Scottish music and they're like, woo, like doing that. I was like, oh, shut up, like that. And then I got to the airport and they were there as well. I was like, oh, for God's sake, like you're just, of course, there's only one flight in and out of this place. Right? So of course you're all here as well. Woo! Yeah.
See, like stuff out there, like booking flights and things, I get so incredibly nervous when I'm doing it. Like I literally like check, double check, triple check. I'm like, have I got the right day, like month, year, like am I getting everything right? Like the times, I get so nervous. Even with booking trains, I get that nervous about it. Like
I'm just so dopey.
Because I'm so fearful that what happened to you is going to happen to me. Yeah. Because it's definitely the type of thing I would do if I didn't really, like, check loads.
And I think that, like, I'm someone who like will make a mistake like that, and then forever I will check. Apparently, like my sister once, they went to go see. They were going to Belgium to go see Drake when she used to live in Manchester. Her and her now husband. They were going over to Belgium to go see Drake. She'd been in charge of booking the flights, which, like, my brother was like, "This is going to be a nightmare."
Oh, so she's the same as you.
She's like me as well.
Right.
Like but then everyone thinks like we're really dopey as well, and even when I told the guy who was like the MC for the gig, this like Scottish guy who's been around for years, and I said, "It's like, oh, I thought I was doing a gig in Somerset last night, but it was actually in Bradford." And I booked the wrong flight back and whatever. And he was just like, "You need to sort your life out." I was like, "All right, man." Like, okay. Okay. That's okay for other people to say. You can't say that. Like, I'm not as... But I do dopey things. And so understandably, people think I'm really dopey.
Yeah.
And I definitely am dopey. But yeah, she booked the flight to Belgium to go there and somehow had booked the return flight for 3 weeks later.
Oh,
so
God.
like when they're only meant to go there for a night and come back,
Yeah.
the boy was like, "How have you done that?" And it must have just been when you're trying to look for the cheapest flights. That's sometimes what gets you, and looking for the most ideal flight and whatever. But yeah, it should be. I don't know. I would be fine for more options. It's already very stressful booking a flight, but there was more options. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? But then maybe that will put more people off of just being like, yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. But I don't know. But if you want to fly up to Luton and turn around and come back, it will only cost you like 40 quid.
The option, the option is there.
Fantastic.
The option is there. It shouldn't be allowed to book a flight 20 minutes after you land. Like, that should not be allowed at all. Like, I would rather someone pop up on the screen and just be like, hey man, like, are you okay? Just like,
are you sure this is what you're going to book?
Yeah. I don't know whether maybe it is something to do with comedians where you've got quite like a scatterbrain as well. But there's plenty of people who aren't comedians and they're quite scatty. Like my mum, when we would go places, she would like check constantly that she's not got the tickets. Like, not got the tickets, I haven't got the tickets, I haven't got the tickets. So of course you have, mum. Like, but I think if you over check, you can end up misplacing them or whatever. Of constantly like worrying where they are. And so like when we used to go to London, my mum would be freaking out that like we haven't got the train tickets, we haven't got the tickets for the show that we're seeing and stuff like that. It's like, Mum, you're like one of the most organised people I know, but you're like over organised.
Yeah.
So then it ends up making you panic, whereas I'm so like chilled out. But because I just tell myself, it's like, don't be like Mum, like you've got the tickets. Don't be like your mum, it's absolutely fine.
Then it's a fun guessing game of have I really got them?
Yeah. And then I know the whole time as I'm going there that like I might not have them. I might not have them. And what if I don't have them? What's the problem? Like we had one recently where we went to go see, me and my girlfriend went to go see Bill Bailey.
Oh yeah.
At De Montfort Hall. This was a couple of years ago.
He's my hero.
Oh man, it was. But right, I fell asleep during it.
Jack.
I know. How can you fall asleep during Bill Bailey? It's as if I'd
the most watchable man in the world.
Right. So
and it's like you've got to support your own, Jack.
No, I know. So it's like Saturday, Sunday, the shows were, and I knew it was on the Sunday, and my girlfriend, because I had a gig where I got back really late on the Friday, and so I knew it was the Sunday because I was like, there's no way I would agree to go into this on the Saturday because I'm going to be so tired. And my girlfriend's like, no, it's the Saturday. I'm like, it's 100% the Sunday. She's holding the tickets. We could just look at the tickets. And we both just out-confidenced each other. Well, she out-confidenced me and I just gave up. Because I was too tired. I was delirious. I was just like, fine, let's go. And then we get there and the lady at the door was like, these are for tomorrow. And I'm too tired to even be like, I told you so. So she was like, but there is two. Yeah, I was right, but I still had the punishment of going to watch it, and I had to we sat right at the back because they squeezed us in. And I was like,
so you went. You did go on the Saturday.
And that's why I fell asleep because I knew it was. I wanted to watch it on the Sunday because I was going to be really tired on the Saturday.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah, you like. I was just like, yeah. I was nodding off, and she was like, "Why are you falling asleep?" I was like, "Because we're supposed to be tomorrow.
We're not supposed to be here."
Yeah, it was meant to be tomorrow. I had a really late night. I can't remember where I was the day before, I knew they were for the Sunday. Yeah. And it was just one of those things of like, why don't we look at the tickets? And we both laugh about it now. It was just like, we could have just looked at them. It would have taken 1 second. But in those situations, and I've had loads of things like that as well, where you just try and outconfidence the other person.
I love how you've like got yourselves, changed. You've got your coats on. You've got your shoes on. You've got out the door. You've done the whole journey.
Yeah.
You've gone the whole journey. You got out the car. You got parked the car. You got out the car. You've walked to the venue, and at the point being at the ticket, like at the venue where you got to show your tickets. Only then, at that point, were you both gonna find out which one was right? That's insane. That sounds like such an immense game.
Yeah, because you don't want to be. Nobody wants to be proven wrong, do they?
No,
so you're like, no, I know I'm right.
No.
You just carry on.
Yeah. I like being right, Stamps. You know this, but I would much rather be told I'm wrong before I've got to the point of like even leaving my house. Yeah, 100%.
I was and it was the thing. I was too tired as well to like fight my case of like. I would just be like, yeah, fine, maybe you are right.
All you had to do is get the tickets. It would have been less effort than walk into the car.
Yeah, I think understandably, I'm not trusted with tickets a lot. Yeah. So like, I'm not usually trusted with them at all.
But I totally get where your mum's coming from, where it's like, have I got them? Have I got them? Have I got them? Have I got them? Because like when I did my like trip around America, it was the first time I'd been anywhere on my own, and I had to like keep control. It's not like they were like wandering off without me, but look after my passport and my tickets and like my little notepad with my backup information on there in case my phone died. And I only had my phone, and that's what I was booking all my hotels on. I had my like plane tickets were on that. I didn't have paper plane tickets. Like, and then I was thinking, shit, what if I drop my phone at some point? Then I'm really fucked. Like, oh God, the amount of panic. And in the end, I just had to be like, Joe, nothing will happen. Like, something will happen if you like think about it so much that you will end up making it happen. It's oh God, it's
the amount of time convinces themselves that their passport's going to disappear somehow.
Yeah, definitely.
House and the desk. Like, where's it going to go? It's zipped up in my bag, but you check it every fight. Is it still there? It's still, I saw it. It's still there. That was a close one.
It's also one of those things that where like you find your passport, and I'm really bad for like I pick up something. There's my passport, and then I just put it back down, and like. Well, I've found it now, so I'm just going to put it back somewhere, and then I forget about it. But like when I took the train up to my dad's once, I was about like, I don't know, like 16. My mum was calling me every stop, like every changeover. She just worries about me all the time. And I've told her, like, Mum, I've been to Australia on my own. I've been to all these places on my own. You don't have to worry about me at all. Like even when I was calling her in Inverness.
Yeah, then she's like, but do you remember what happened in Inverness?
Yeah, she was freaking out like that when I was telling her, and I was just like, oh no, there's one more bus. I had to also, because I got paid in cash for the gig as well, and I was like, so
you're
skint
walking around with a load of cash in your pocket as
well. Yeah, and like trying to
get cash.
I had to pay. You know what bus drivers are like, where they want exact change. I had to pay for a £5 bus journey with a £20 note. Like it was.
Oh, they would have been livid.
I was like, I'm really sorry, mate, but like this is the last bus of the day because it's Sunday as well. But if I didn't get that flight as well from Inverness back to Luton, I would have had to stay up there for like a week or something. Or my dad, who's a big sweetheart, and I did tour support for Dane in Millham in Cumbria as well up there, and he's really, really supportive of me. Like my mum's supportive in a way where she'll leave me like energy drinks in my car where I stay with her, and she'll put a note on them saying "Don't die." And I don't think she knows.
Does she know what you do for a living?
No, yeah, exactly. She doesn't know. She means don't die as in physically don't crash your car. She doesn't know
don't die on stage.
Don't die on stage. She's not bothered about that at all. But she's just like, I don't care if you do really badly on stage. Just come home in one piece, my little baby boy. And but she's but like my dad, he'll come along with me, and so even with the Inverness trip, he was like, okay, well, why don't you? Do you like? It really does bother me. Like my dad's great for it, but it bothers me anyway when you've got a set plan and someone else then tries to like sneak in and change the whole plan.
Oh God,
it really winds me up.
Like, hate it.
Yeah,
we're both with you on that one.
This is the plan. Like it's not so bad because my dad and he was just trying to help out. But I did just say to him, I was like, no, Dad, like so because he lives where he lives, so I would have gone from like Bradford up to his, then he would have drove us up to Inverness, which is like still 6 hours.
Oh my God.
As well. Like if I was going from Leicester, where I was contemplating driving as well, like but it just would have been a nightmare. And it was like, we can stay up there and then I'll drive us back. And then, and I was like, no, because I won't get back until like really late on Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
Forgetting that I didn't come back till really late anyway because I got the wrong flight. But I was at least back home on the Monday by like midday. I was back home on Sunday at 1 a.m. because my brother drove me back, and then I drove back from his. But yeah, like where he's very, very sweet for stuff like that. But it is just like, oh my god, like he does it a lot.
If you want to join me on my current plans, fine. But the plans aren't changing because you want to join. There's like big, 100%. I had somebody in my life that did that, and I cut them out.
You cut them out?
Yeah, I cut them out. I was so sick of it. I was so sick of it, Jack. I cut them out fully out.
I get it where it's like for some people it's a controlling thing and stuff like that, and like you have to tell someone. Because it's my dad, I don't mind it, and he totally got it.
You can't cut your dad out, can you? So,
no, exactly. And he totally got it. Of like, no, Dad, like I've sorted it. It's absolutely fine. You know, don't worry about it. And I want to go see my granddad as well and stuff like that, which is my mum's dad and stuff. So like, but with like when I've met other people doing it, it does drive me insane, especially when it is for my gigs. If I'm usually quite good at meeting up with people who are like mates and stuff like that who live in different parts of the country. But sometimes they are a bit like, and this might be the same for you, like if you're going somewhere else away, like say when you go up to Scotland and someone would be like, oh, if you're coming up here, why don't you stay here? It's like, no, I've already got a hotel booked. Oh, no, we'll do this. And it's like, no, I've got a plan. Like,
I don't want to stay.
Yeah, exactly. And when I'm doing a gig somewhere, they're like, oh, are you coming out afterwards? It's like, no, I've got to go home. Or they want to like, oh, we can go out for a meal beforehand. It's like, no, I need to be at the venue at this time.
Yeah, I think because you work in the entertainment industry, I imagine a lot of people just see it as a jolly, and they forget no, it's your work, it's your job. Like even if you're like a comedian that's starting out and still have some form of other part-time job or something, it's still it's not a jolly. Like you still have to be, there's still like a level of professionalism that has to be there. It's also the work-life balance and all of that kind of thing. And I totally get that people would just forget that, and it's like, yeah, but you can just rock up 5 minutes before you're meant to be on, and then like, yeah, I totally get it. I get that must be frustrating.
So I become more selective about, especially if I'm going to like London, London, I don't really like London anyway, like because you've got different mates and living in different parts of London. Some of my mates are great for if I'm doing a gig somewhere in London, they'll come along and see me. Yeah. But other mates are like, oh, that's a bit far for me. I'm like, well, I don't live in London and I got there. So like, what are you on about? Like, I've had to get like a bus from Leicester or something like that. Like, I did a gig in Wimbledon the year Andy Murray won Wimbledon for the first time. And it was that weekend, or whenever it was when he won Wimbledon. And two of my mates who I've known all my life, one of them came along. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come along. Of course, the gig was awful because who wanted to be out that day in Wimbledon? Everyone was just dead excited. It was the summer. It was lovely. Andy Murray just won Wimbledon. It was a great day for everyone all round. But my other mate was like, oh, it's a bit far. Like, they live together. One of them was like, oh, it's a bit far for me. I was like, are you in another room of the house or something like that? Where it's just beyond the threshold?
I'm upstairs.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it. Sorry, mate. Oh,
this is why you cut people out.
Yeah, but I would never cut any of them out. Like, usually my mates are dead good. I'm sometimes quite bad at leaving it really last minute to tell people, oh, I'm doing a gig near you.
Yeah.
A lot of my mates do tend to get it. I suppose it's the ones who I see more infrequently. And then they're usually like, oh, we can go out for some food beforehand. It's like, I don't just show up at the venue 5 minutes before I'm due on.
Yeah.
And I like to be that. Not that I don't really get particularly nervous or anything, but it is that professionalism thing of like, I like to be there just early enough to let them know I'm there and whatever. And sometimes I've gone to a venue, let them know I'm there, and just said that I'm popping across the road because I don't really like just sitting in a room on my own for a while. Like that ends up throwing me off more. I like going on quite like ad hoc, really. But even with my lovely, lovely girlfriend, we've had issues where like she doesn't really come with me lots anymore because you're already like, uh-oh, like that. It's like where she doesn't come along with me much anymore because she's heard me say the same things so many times as well, so it's quite boring for her. But when it's like somewhere fun and interesting, she'll come along with me. And sometimes I've even been like, don't even worry about coming to the gig, you do something else. I was doing a gig in Dorset and she came along with me, and we're driving down there and we stopped somewhere and we left early enough to have a meal. And then the person came over and was just like, "Oh, do you want desserts?" I was like, "No, we won't have desserts." Cara was just like, "I would like a dessert." So
Oh God!
Like, all right, I guess she's having a dessert. And I was late to the gig. And they had to move me from opening to doing the middle because I was late to the gig. And I'm just so like...
Because she wanted a dessert.
She wanted a sundae. I was like, anything for you. You can have a sundae, whatever you want. Like that. But like...
I'll risk my career.
Yeah.
As long as you have your ice cream.
Whatever. Who cares? Like, you know...
The thing is, I don't know... This is so tricky. I don't know whose side I'm on because I really love dessert, but I really love comedy.
I think it was
So it's like...
Yeah. I think if I said... I think it was how dismissive I was. That was the issue. That I was just like, no desserts for these two. We've got to go. Like, whereas if I said, do you mind if we don't have a dessert? I think it was because I said no.
It was a bit of like, so do you think she was going,
said anything.
Actually, do you know what? No, I am going to have dessert.
Yeah, you're telling me I'm not, so I am.
Yeah.
I think she was craving a sundae as well. She was really craving it. And like, we've still got the picture of it as well. And I was putting on a smiley face and just like, yeah, this is totally fine like that.
You should have said, I'll buy you a Mars bar from the shop on the way over.
Oh, that's no substitute for a full-blown sundae, is it? Like, that would have been...
Maybe not, but... I feel like there could have been some compromise had in this
and not that
situation.
I'm not precious about having people eating in my car. I don't mind that. But an ice cream in the car, too dangerous. Far too dangerous as well. If it was like a McFlurry, other ice creams are available. But like if it was a McFlurry, then at least it's like boxed, isn't it? But if it was just like a loose, like I don't know, like somehow we saw like a 99 an ice cream van on the motorway or something like that. Just give me one of them. She really wants a dessert. Like I'm compromising, but yeah. So yeah, having one of them in the car would have been a nightmare. And also, it's like she falls asleep in the car every time she's with me as well. With her, I know it's dangerous. She puts her feet up on the dashboard.
So dangerous.
So dangerous.
So incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, which I'm not condoning, but she falls asleep bare feet on my windscreen. So there's like handprints Titanic on the window, but it's someone's footprints on the window, and like, were you two like having sex in the car? I was like, no, she just falls asleep in the car with her feet up.
Oh my goodness.
We talk about it now and we do have a laugh about it as well, and like, I think she does feel somewhat guilty because I think she just knows that I'll just say like, yeah, go on then, have a dessert. And I was just watching her. She did cut it short. And also because I knew she wasn't going to finish it. She loves desserts but never finishes them. Yeah. Yeah. This is turning into a food podcast very quickly.
Absolutely no complaints from me for that, by the way. What I would like to touch on, you mentioned that you've been to Australia. Mm-hmm. Was that just for holiday? Was that for gigs?
No, so I was a very, very lucky boy and I won English Comedian of the Year 2014. When I was a bright and bushy-tailed 23-year-old. And so, the part of the prize was going to Adelaide. Scott Bennett was in the final. He came second.
Fab.
We love Scott.
Yeah, we really like Scott.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really good. And never been to Australia before. My mum still thinks every time I do something comedy-wise, like when I did Glastonbury Festival as well, and that's from like applying for it. No one, like, as much as you get it, I still applied. It still worked, but she's just like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, Jack. It's like, it's a comedy festival. If I work hard enough, I'll go again. Like, they're not shutting Glastonbury after I've done it. Like, well, Glastonbury's peaked. Jack Campbell's on the same year that Lionel Richie was on, and we might as well just end it here. Like,
what a year!
Yeah. Kanye West restarting it over and over again and stuff like that. But so I went out to Australia. That was really nerve-wracking for me because I was going out on my own.
Did you go on your own?
Flew out on my own, and like I was excited about it. And again, my dad, he drove me, and we stayed in an airport next to Gatwick, which is now the go-to airport anytime we're going to Gatwick, because it's really cheap considering it's right next to it. And so, got there really early in the morning. Have you come across Jenny Collier?
She is coming on the podcast.
Yeah, love Jenny to bits.
In the new year for season 3.
Yeah, Jenny's great. And so she was at the airport. I'd met Jenny a couple of times. and we'd got on well enough for me to message her because I saw her posting that she was in the airport, and the airport would have been crawling with comedians that day as well, I think. So I messaged her being like, I'm also in the airport, and we hadn't hung out much. So we hung out at the airport, and then that was it. It was me and Jenny for the whole month in Adelaide. And it was lovely. We went on 1,000 dates, and everyone, I think some people, like that horrible thing of like a guy and a girl hanging out together, similar to you two, thinking that we were together. It was like, no, we're just having a great time together. We went to the zoo. We ate so many, we had a lovely, lovely time. So, but the difficult things about going there, so like I was fine on the plane as well. I didn't mind that, even though I don't really like flying still. I don't like turbulence at all. Some people love it. Like when I've gone...
I think it makes it more exciting.
Oh, yeah, but you've got a death wish. We've talked about this before.
Absolutely hate it. And I know you're safe. I know like all the statistics on the plane, you're more likely it's taking off and landing. That's the issue. The amount of flights that actually go down is so small and stuff like that. So I've got all that in my head. It's like I just don't like turbulence because you're dropping like hundreds of feet and you can't really feel it at all. Is it hundreds of feet? I don't know. Like it's a big
probably
number.
Thousands, but okay.
And I was sat next to these two other people on the flight there. Yeah, and it's thousands. You drop thousands of feet.
I mean, it's pretty scary.
I was just waiting to see how long it would take you to pick up on that.
Oh my god!
6 foot.
6 foot. Like you barely, you don't even know. Because I remember going on a flight when I went to Iceland with my mum. This will dip into lots of stories. When I was 18, I went to Iceland for a weekend with my mum, and the turbulence on the way back was awful. Where like I was 18 and holding my mum's hand. I hate it. Also, when I went to Iceland with my mum, we had to share a double bed for the weekend. As well. Like 18th birthday with my mum, just me and my mum sharing a double bed. I had a great time. And also, we went to New York on a school trip when I was 17. I didn't go to a nice school where we went to.
I never got to go to New York on a school trip.
No, it was the last year they were doing it. Like my school's really gone downhill since then. But like the turbulence there, like my mate Lewis was next to me laughing like a witch on a mountain with this turbulence. Like he was doing it, like he was in control of it, like shooting lightning out of his hands or whatever. Like, yes, like that. Like, and I was just like, oh my god, like trying to watch the B movie because it's such a long flight. I decided to watch films, and we can play a game with this if I try and remember well enough what films I watched. So I'd watch a film and drink a certain drink with that film. So I was trying to get drunk on the plane, which is really hard.
Yeah.
And so I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
the live action one.
Did you say it's difficult to get drunk on a plane?
I found it difficult.
I thought it was meant to be. I thought you meant to get drunk more easily because like
altitude. I
don't know what it was.
Altitude. That's the one.
But like, you don't really feel the altitude, do you? Because it's pressurised.
That's what I thought. That's why I thought it was more difficult to get drunk on I thought it was easier to get drunk on a plane.
I don't know.
Which live-action version of Turtles are we talking about?
The one
God, we've lost stances now.
The one was it Johnny Knoxville as Leonardo? Was he one of the voices in it?
Yeah,
Will Arnett and Megan Fox. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you as well. Like I remember the '90s ones, the weird live-action ones,
proper live-action ones.
But I loved them as well because it had like the second one had Vanilla Ice in, didn't it?
It did doing the turtle rap.
Yeah. But this was the new ones that they did, which aren't that bad.
The second one is a lot better than the first one.
Yeah, I think it was the second one.
It's got Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes.
Guys, this is awful.
Joanne, shut your mouth, okay? Shut your mouth. Okay? The point is, what drink would you drink with watching Ninja Turtles 2?
Well, alcoholic beverage.
Alcoholic drink, of course.
Is it related in any way to the movie?
I think it would be what would the Ninja Turtles drink. It's not. I wouldn't overthink it.
Beer.
Yeah, that's it. I powered through a bunch of beers for that one.
There you go.
Yeah,
mindset now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else I watched. I think I watched Interstellar. And what would you drink with Interstellar?
I mean, we're in space. What are you drinking in space?
I think I had a cocktail. I'm realising
couldn't decide, so I had everything.
I think I watched the Stephen Hawking one, The Theory of Everything, and I think I had a wine.
Good God!
With that, I was sat next to this German couple who were very annoyed with me because I was just like, "More drinks, please, more drinks." Like that.
I mean, your films are getting more and more like detailed and serious as the drinking's going on.
Yeah. I don't know whether that was the order I even watched them in. I don't know whether Ninja Turtles was a palate cleanser at the end, or was it?
I'm thinking far too much about time and space and travel.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I do think I was a bit like, oh, I am a bit hammered, because I've never been on a flight before where I could drink for free as well. I've never done that. So yeah.
Oh wow.
So, that was
okay.
It was really cool. Like, yeah. So with the English Comedian of the Year, I think they've stopped running it.
Was that after 2014?
This guy's crazy. Like, he's just quoting Ninja Turtles and the Theory of Everything. This guy, what is this guy like? Like, and say,
what I want to know, Jack, is if you could get confused about the flights just going to Inverness, how did you have to book your own flights to Australia and back with all that time difference? And like, how? Because how did you even do that?
I did not have to do that. That was totally fine.
Thank God.
Yeah, so like,
because you'd have been coming home before you'd even got there.
I would have been, like it would have been. That's why I was like, maybe while I was watching Interstellar as well, I was hoping I'd end up like ripping through the fabric of time somehow. The plane would have to park up, like fly next to a refueling jet, and I would have to get on that one to go back home or something. But there was the guy who ran English Comedian of the Year. He was picking me up from the airport. But this is another peeve. His communication was so bad. Like, he did not, like, I was messaging him like, are you picking me up from the airport? Have I got accommodation when I get there? And I don't like bothering anyone, and that also sometimes while I get into situations, because I'm so like, oh yeah, it's fine, don't worry. Yeah. And like, so like, I was, are you picking me up from the airport? Nothing. Like, for weeks and weeks and weeks, just nothing at all. And then like nothing. Like, because I won it in the summer, and you don't fly out until like maybe late January.
Yeah.
So like, asking them these questions: are you picking me up at the airport? Have I got accommodation? Blah 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 blah. And I think it's because he's been going out there for years, and so he's just like, yeah, obviously I'm doing all that stuff. I don't like, it's so obvious to me. Why would I even tell you? So like, and then it wasn't until maybe the day before the flight he said like, yes, I'm getting you from the airport. And I was like, oh my God, okay, that's a relief. That's fine. He's getting me from the airport. Blah 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 blah. And I met some other comedians who also knew him, and they were like, yeah, he's picking me up as well, so don't worry about it. And like, I'm just I think it was another one of these things of people thinking I'm really dopey. And I was like, no, you're not telling me the information of it. So I'm having to ask these questions that make me look more dopey than what I am. And mine and Jenny Collier's bags got lost.
Oh, no.
So we didn't have them for a week, and we're in Australia. We've left England in our January England clothes and arrived in Australia in their summer. Yeah. So I'm just melting. So I had to go out and buy some like shorts and stuff like that as well.
Did you have one of those really cool T-shirts that got that 80s print on it? There's like a kangaroo and like a sun and stuff like that.
I think I'm really boring. I just bought a bunch of black or white T-shirts as well. I got
really excited then.
No, sorry. Yeah, the only bit of clothing that was fun that I bought there. I bought a mug, and I thought I was going to be on camera, and I was going to have my Australian mug, and it's just an Australian flag on it, so it's not even that fun.
Oh, you're so keen to be on camera, Jack. Like, you're getting yourself all ready. Like,
I wanted to show my dog. It was more the dog.
Oh, I'd have brought my dog. We can have a little dog play.
Oh, she's very, very uninterested in it. See what? Like, I brought her on webcam Zoom things before, and I'll show her, and then she just looks so like bored.
Stop showing me off.
Yeah, so it's like 40 degrees every day in Adelaide. For 5 weeks, like non-stop 40 degrees. I find it crazy that people still go about their regular days.
Yeah, that's just too much.
Same.
And like how no one's screaming their heads off. Like businessmen wearing suits going around, and how none of them are just like, it's so fucking hot, I can't handle it. Ah! Like how no one's just ripping like a printer and just chucking it out the window. Why are we even here? This is insane.
Once the needle gets past 20 in the UK, we freak out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like usually I don't like weather chat anyway, because we have a temperate climate in the UK where it's pretty much the same every year. Like, and I get really annoyed when people do talk about the weather, and it's only like, it's because I don't like mundane, boring chat. Like, there's so many things we can talk about. Let's talk about animals or something like that. Like, just something more interesting than like, oh, isn't it hot? Like, yeah, it's the summer. This happens every year.
Yeah.
Like, is this your first day? Are you an alien? Who's like, yeah. Yeah. Like, have you just been like infused into a person, and this is your first day, and you're like, better talk about the weather with everyone? Like, that's just like, yeah, like this is going to happen every single day. So it really annoys me. But 40 degrees every single day is insane. No rain at all. I think that we had 2 minutes of rain, and they were the biggest raindrops I've ever seen as well. Like, it looked like they were ordered by Adelaide.
Flown in.
Yeah. We'll get the big drops, please. Like, and then off they go. And the gig, it was really, really cool. The accommodation I was staying in wasn't very nice. I was above the venue that I was staying in. So at night, it's like a party venue. Jenny Collier and Larry Dean were all in the same thing. Larry and Jenny has either they had a lower tolerance or more money than me, where they decided to go book a separate accommodation after about a week. I stayed there for the whole 5 weeks because it was like, well, I'm not paying for it, so I don't really care. And there was a dead cockroach in my room, where cockroaches are meant to be able to survive nuclear storms. And this cockroach had had enough. I didn't know cockroaches could commit suicide, but this one could. Like, he had a little noose next to him, and left it. Like, he just called it a day. But it was bad. My tap was coming out with black water.
Nice.
Really bad. Where Jenny went to go stay, I would go do my washing at hers because I had nowhere to go do my washing. And then it wasn't until the end of my time at the hostel I was just like, oh yeah, like when they saw me one day, like, why are you taking all your washing out and walking all that way? We have a washing machine here. Like, why didn't you tell me? Like,
oh God,
like really,
you don't want to bother anyone. You don't ask questions.
A mix of not wanting to bother anyone, but also like they would tell me. But also in my room there were 2 bunk beds, 2 bunk beds and 2 single beds, all for me. So, like, I would use one for, like, clothes, one for other things, and just, like, I'd use them like
other things.
Other, like,
one for other things.
I was going to leave that one alone.
I don't know what else I meant by
one for other things.
Other things.
Other things.
Bath, like washing stuff. Nothing, books.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. Like, I'm not a...
Washing
library.
I took no books with me as well. That was really bad. I took no books.
All clothes.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any clothes for the first week.
It was reserved for those things, but it wasn't used.
Other things. It's none of your business, right? Okay, it's other things. Mind your own business, okay? Mugs, stuff like that. Receipts, whatever. A collection of dead insects that I'd found, and I would put them up like a menagerie on one of the beds. So at night, the bar would stay open till like 3. And so you'd hear like arguments and stuff like that. And one time...
You've broken, Joe.
Oh, man.
So they just happen sometimes. Something that really tickles me.
My phrasing's so
gone.
weird for stuff like that. Like, where my girlfriend will ask me, what have I done today? I was like, I've just moved stuff around. It's like what? It's like, I don't know. Like, I think when I say move stuff around, I mean I've moved like a chocolate bar from the wrapper into my body. In my head of like, I've done some admin, like, or whatever, because I'm just a little weird.
Fridge was a bit messy.
Yeah, I took stuff out of it and put it away. And
oh dear.
by moving stuff around, I mean I moved around. Like, that's my idea of it. But the bar stays open till 3, and one time, Jenny heard like a big smash of like beer bottles. And then heard just someone Australian just shout, "Get fucked!" and then ran away. So we still say that together 6 years on. Get fucked! Right, and there was also 2 people having an argument outside, and then someone pushed over like a bench or something like that. And then this Australian lady just going like, "Don't fucking start!" And so, and then they left. But no, I had a really fun time. Like, the gigs, you did a daytime gig on a bar there, because it's kind of like a western town, Australia.
Okay.
Or Adelaide.
The whole of Australia was like a western town.
Well, it kind of is.
Generalising slightly
It kind
there.
of is. Like, apart from Sydney, I think a lot of, like, there's the new bits, but a lot of the, like, it's got this kind of like outbacky feel to it, a lot of the places. But the bars, they've got these big, lovely outdoor balconies, and so you're doing gigs on that and just looking out to this like forest and stuff like that. But it was super, super cool. Like, I didn't get up to anything too mad while I was there. I saw some possums. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Me and Jenny, when we went to the zoo, all the animals were too hot. They should not have a zoo there. at all.
Did they tell you that, the animals?
Oh, you could just look at them like
Fanning
oh my
themselves
god,
out.
they're all just exhausted. Like, you know,
It's a koala with spraying mist
oh
on
my god,
itself.
like this lion.
Fuck, mate.
Yeah, this lion who was just like, Jesus fucking Christ, like that. Like
A lion.
so hot.
A lion. Famously
lion.
known for being from Africa.
Yeah, couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. So, Jesus Christ. Like, because at least in...
Get them to cut my fucking mane.
Yeah, that's it. And so we'd see, like, big dogs. Big fluffy dogs. Not at the zoo now. We're out of the zoo. Like, Australia...
This is a shit zoo.
Australia, yeah, really shit zoo. Yeah,
Oh my god. That was terrible.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oh man, we haven't got any. Oh, none of the animals. Let's just get some fish. Like, that'll do. Like, get some fish. But we saw, like, walking around these beautiful parks, like someone with a big white fluffy dog, like an Alsatian, like a big white fluffy dog, and the dog's just like, shave me, please. I'm so hot. It's too hot. Like, and but like I saw the most exciting animal I saw was a tree kangaroo, which I didn't know were a thing. They're amazing. Have you heard of tree kangaroos?
No.
I mean, is it as it sounds? Is it a kangaroo that can climb trees?
It's a kangaroo. It's an arboreal kangaroo, so they live in the trees.
Oh my life!
And there's a show on Netflix at the moment where they've got, it's like an animal documentary one. So they had one about big cats, and then they had one about big dogs, and Bryan Cranston narrates it. He narrates the big dogs one, and then the one about marsupials, Rebel Wilson narrates that one. And so tree kangaroos are on that. So yeah, they live in the trees, and they've got big thick tails. But it was just me and Jenny, like, watch, because it was the only animal that could be asked to do anything at all. And so, like, it came down off its tree and bounced around on the floor a little bit. But they don't really bounce like kangaroos, because they've got, like, they don't need to, because they just climb the trees and stuff. But they're beautiful as well. If you Google them, they're so pretty. Like, they've got really nice, like, yellowy orange coloration on them.
Oh.
And yeah, but this one put on a fucking show for us. It came down. Oh, you're right, guys. You want to, like, you know, picked up some, like, nuts and whatever and ate them. I was like, I'm just going to go back in my tree now, like that, and then off.
Fucking warm,
yeah, just did all that, and then off it went. You know, but I suppose on the whole,
would you recommend that show? Like, it sounds epic.
For considering how all the animals couldn't be asked to do anything because it was so hot, we would have been entertained by, I don't know, like.
So what you're saying is the bar was low.
A lion licking its ass, we would have been like, woo! Good job, buddy. Yeah, but it was cool going out there. But I suppose the gigs were fun. And it's really good for, like, comedians, I suppose, as well. Yeah. But also I can't remember, it's called Clipsal. So the Australian version of the Chavs are bogans, fucking bogans.
Okay.
And so they're all out, and they're all into, like, car racing. So during the month of the comedy festival, they've also got the car racing festival on. Oh, I wanted to go to an aquarium, and I asked a taxi driver who couldn't speak any English, like, an aquarium? I want to go to an aquarium. And he was like, I don't know what you mean. Like, where? I was like, an aquarium. A fish zoo? And
fish zoo.
Yeah.
Oh.
How else would you describe an aquarium to someone?
Sea Life Centre?
All right.
Smash.
Yeah. I'd say a fish zoo.
Go on, then. What's your suggestion?
Yeah.
I was thinking with fish zoo.
A fish zoo. Like a zoo for fish, an aquarium. You know.
Oh my goodness.
But then by definition, that would mean a zoo is a land aquarium, so it doesn't quite work, does it? Like,
no.
It was beautiful, but I guess
good.
Travel story wise, nothing majorly interesting happens. You know, like I've
got what I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
So.
And we did a wine tour where we had to do these. You know, get up really early at like 9 a.m. and go out on a bus, and there's the audience on with the comedians, and you're drinking wine, like, really, and you go to these different venues around, and the comedians do gigs at the different venues and stuff like that. And I was at the third venue, so I was fucking pissed, mate. Like, I was smashed, like, trying to do a gig. I'm usually quite professional, but, like, the gig went fine. I don't think, like, but I was clearly, like, slurry and had red wine teeth. And, but yeah, like, there was nothing majorly interesting that happened there at all. Like, it was good fun, and I hope to go again, because other people who've won it, Josh Pugh, if you've heard of him, he's from near where you're based, and he's won it. And he went out you go to Perth and Adelaide. So the year afterwards, they thought, I'd done such a good job out there. Let's also get these comedians going to Perth and Adelaide as well. So I hope to go back again. And my sister, the one who booked the 3 weeks apart flight to Belgium, she now lives in Sydney.
Oh, cool.
So you can go the usual comedy route there. You go Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, and then maybe Sydney. But because of also the shape of Australia, because it's really wide and you've got the different time zones, you can do it that way. And I would like there to be something in the UK that would work similar, where Edinburgh is like the World Cup. That's where it finishes. But not like the World Cup in football. It's more like the World Cup in, say, like snooker or something where it's the last event of the year. Yeah. So you start maybe in Cornwall doing a comedy festival there, Devon, and you zip your way up and down the country. But the UK's too small for it to really work, I think, whereas Australia is definitely big enough for that to work, where you can be out there for 3 months. And,
so where do you think you're where do you think you're going to go next on your travels, Jack? Where's next on your list?
I want to go to because there are some other gigs in Europe. I love going to Europe. I'd like to go to Canada maybe. But the only way I've done these things is because someone's paid for me to do it. So like where I've gone on holidays and stuff like that. And but yeah, if I get to the point where that's one of the biggest perks of it, of being able to go to these places for free.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love going to like weird travel things. Like my dad messaged someone, so he like sells motocross gear and travels around a lot as well. And most of the conversations we have about what service station we're in or what motorway we're on, that's most of the time. And he messaged someone on the Shetland Isles who had a motorbike shop, and they also are interested in comedy nights. My dad messaged them being like, "Oh, I could come over and sell you some of this stuff and show you what we've got. Oh, by the way, my son also does comedy, so maybe we could get something booked in." And then the guy responded, "Oh yeah, if Jack's ever in the Shetland Isles, let me know." Why would I ever be? My dad was serving you up a nice, easy, soft one of like, let's sort something out. My dad doesn't have to at all do stuff like that. He's just a very sweet guy. Sometimes he goes in like, when you go to like laptop shops and whatever, he puts my video up on YouTube and all the new.
Oh, I love that.
It's adorable. So like, but also very frustrating as well. Like, but. I don't know where else I would like to go. I'd love to go back to Australia, go to some other places there, go to New Zealand. If I got to the point where I could take my mum with me to Australia, because she would really like to go, because she's got friends out there. I was meant to tell the Sunburn story in Australia. That was the worst thing. I think that's why I didn't tell it.
Oh, God.
I need to send you the picture of it. It was so me, Jenny Collier and Larry Dean went to the beach, and I went in. Me and Jenny went in the sea and got out of the sea, and we didn't reapply. And the ozone there is very, very thin, and we got burnt, but we didn't realise we got burnt until we'd gone back on the train and we're walking through Adelaide city centre, and then it started like tingle. And then, like, the sunburn was so bad. Like, the backs of my legs looked like a red and white map, like where the white would be. It was so painful. My back and to where the burnt bit, and then like my bum looks like the Poland flag. Like it's that severe, like really, really bad. But I like really weird places as well. I want to go to the Faroe Islands.
Cool.
I'd really like to go to Armenia as well, just because I'm fascinated with the place.
Oh, yeah.
Israel as well. I like all these like strange places. South Africa, and my great-granddad was South African.
Oh, cool.
But he ran away from the South African army and got buried in an unmarked grave in Cornwall, which is all quite,
wow.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Jack. Like, oh, cool. And I was like, yeah, not cool. Not cool, is it? But my mum went out there. My mum's only 5 foot, and she did one of those shark cage dive things where you like put your hands on the top bar and rest on the bottom bar. Because she's only 5 foot, her feet couldn't reach the bottom bar, and her feet were like starting to come out of the cage when there's like big sharks like, what, coming in. But there's loads and loads of places I'd love to go. I'm more than happy with it. And like most people on your podcast, I've been to Estonia. That seems to be the theme of a lot of people's things. I think Zoe Lyons and stuff about us. Yeah,
And
Amsterdam as well. Well, I went on Amsterdam for a holiday. The highlight was my girlfriend did a really, really big burp. He was walking on a wall, and I was walking on the path. Because we were in Amsterdam, we probably weren't not high, and so like we were walking along there. She just burped that was so big, the birds flew out of the trees.
Oh my goodness me!
You know, like in Friends when Ross is like, "My sandwich."
Oh yeah.
It was like that, but like that. But and I love meeting people from those kind of different places, and less is really good for it because there's a game you can play with people when they're from a different country where you ask them what sounds certain animals make.
Oh,
so when we're sure, have you heard about this?
Yeah, well, I haven't heard of the game, but I have. Yeah, I definitely am aware of like people from different countries would say different sounds.
And I love it, and it's so like So like my favourite one's a rooster. So I think when I went to Norway and I was asking someone there, like, what sound does a cockerel, a rooster make? Because ours is cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Finnish person, and they were like, kickity-kick-kick-kee. I was just like, no way, man. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, most of them make sense. For, like, we say a mouse. I have a friend from Latvia, and we say a mouse like, squeak, squeak. And theirs is meep, 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 like, instead. And it's just quite sweet, all these little things and stuff like that. And I love meeting people, and then because you just the little subtle differences, like not putting kisses at the end of texts. We do it in the UK loads. Other countries don't do it at all. I think because they trust each other, whereas we're so needy we can't handle it at all.
Oh my goodness! Well, Jack, it has been so much fun having you on. Like, I think you have probably jam-packed the most in that we've ever had. Honestly, I've enjoyed it so much. I just can't believe how much you've jam-packed in.
Right, lads.
It's been so great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Stamps, we've heard about Jack's mishap booking his flights. Really not wanting to stay that long up in Scotland. Have you ever done anything like that?
No, I think that was amazing. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, to do that, just amazing. The only thing that's ever happened to us, and she'll kill me for saying so, is that we went on holiday to Turkey and we went to the airport on the way home to catch our flight home. And when we got to the airport, we like looking at the boards and we were like, can't see our flight. Our flight's, nope, it's definitely not there. Went to the check-in desk and they were like, yeah, that flight's tomorrow.
I'd be so annoyed. So hang on, I didn't know this. So had you booked your hotel for all the nights that you were booked to be there, as in like until the day that you were actually flying out, or had you booked your hotel a day short?
No, so it was like, I think this was part of the problem. So it was a private villa.
Right.
So we booked everything separately. Flights, villa, transfers. So we did have the villa booked until the day we were due to go home.
Right.
But for whatever reason, you know, Lucy's a sensible one. She was in charge. She was convinced that the day everything ended and we were going home was the day before it did.
Maybe she just really fucking had enough of you and she just wanted to get home.
Well, it wasn't just me and Lucy. Her sister and her husband were there as well. So there was four of us. So
you're telling me that no one in the time of like packing their stuff to getting to the airport had even looked at their boarding pass?
No, because Lucy was in charge. She had all the stuff. She had all the stuff in her nice little organised wallet.
I think calling it organised is a bit of a stretch, considering.
I know, but normally she was so organised. So it was like, oh, what do we do now? And we all like decided that we've packed. You know, we were just like in go home mode.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't want to go back to the villa. There was no other flights back to Manchester, so we were flying back up to Lucy's folks. There was no other flights that day. We were like, don't want to stay in the airport overnight. This was like 11 in the morning or something.
Oh my God.
So we ended up like getting a flight back to John Lennon in Liverpool. And then Lucy's poor dad, like, by the time we got back, it was like 1 a.m. Like he drove from Manchester to like, Liverpool to come and pick us up. She's never heard the end of it since.
Oh, I can imagine. I would hate to be Lucy in that situation.
You must have done something stupid like that, though.
No, do you know what? I don't think I have, because just like going back to something else that we spoke about on this episode, the absolute constant fixation on checking that you've got everything. I'm that person.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't misbooked anything, and I haven't thought I'm meant to be going like a day early or anything like that. But what I will have is when you do travel alone, like, not only, even if you print out copies of certain things, like, you know, your boarding pass or whatever it is, if you've got print out copies and things, as well as having digital versions on your phone, so paper copies are just a backup. The problem is there's only one body to keep them on. So I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, what if I lose my rucksack?
Yeah.
What if somebody steals it? What if the thing that I've got tucked away in my sock, what if my sock falls off as well? Like, all these things.
It's your passport, isn't it? You're just convinced that it's randomly going to disappear somehow.
Yeah, 100%.
For no sensible reason. But there's no, it's just going to go. I'm going to check my pocket in a minute or my bag, and it won't be there.
Gone.
Even though it's 4 pockets deep and zipped in.
100%.
It's just going to disappear.
I tell you what was quite worrying. Part of my journey, I went to the Smoky Mountains, and I did a zip line through the Smoky Mountains.
Oh, nice.
Part of it, obviously, you want to record it, don't you? You want to like take pictures and all that kind of thing. So I was taking recordings and everything on my phone.
Yeah.
The device I needed to book the rest of my hotels and, you know, basically have my boarding pass on and all those things. Basically, I did it all through my phone. So if I dropped that, would not have ended well.
Amazing.
Wouldn't have been very good. And at one point, because I wanted a recording of me going across the zip line, like, but someone to record it for me. So I gave my phone to the dude that works at the ziplining company. And I was like, right, you cannot drop this, because I need this device to get home. So I went across the zip line to the other side, and there was this like 18-year-old bloody intern that's like doing a zip line after me and like recording.
That was very brave.
Honestly, I was just so terrified that he was going to drop it or something. But yeah, I am the checker, 100%. To the point sometimes I can't relax, I can't enjoy what I'm doing because I'm having to check so much. But no, so I haven't done that. I haven't misbooked anything, or I haven't gone too eagerly to the airport.
Far too eagerly. Wow.
So
there you go. And also, that was the last episode of season 2.
It was indeed.
So there you go. We will be back, won't we, Jo?
Yeah, in the new year, we've already got some great guests lined up that we're going to be recording with.
Oh, yes, we have.
But Sam says this is the last one of this season, the last one of 2021. So have a great Christmas, everybody, and a fantastic new year.
Oh, yes. Happy Christmas. And same time next year.
Oh, good one. Find us on Instagram, Misadventures in Travel. Follow us, like our posts, support us, and if you've got any stories, any misadventures of your own, DM us, let us know, and we could share them on the podcast.